Hi bakers, I'm Crystal the Cake Lady, and today I'm going to be sharing a recipe that many of you have been waiting very patiently for. I wanted to wait until we got a little closer to Christmas time because in my heart of hearts, I feel like this cake is a Christmas cake, even though people ask for it all year round. Any guesses as to which cake flavor I'm going to be sharing today? If you guessed red velvet, you guessed correctly. Hang around so I can show you what you're going to need. I tend to like a triple decker red velvet cake, so I use 3 8-inch pans, and I always use Baker's Joy. It's the best product out there for making sure your cake is going to turn out perfect from the pan every single time. You're also going to need 2½ cups of cake flour. It's important to use cake flour instead of any other type of flour. It's ground more finely, so don't make any adjustments to this particular point in the recipe. You're going to need 2 cups of sugar, 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of vinegar, 3 eggs, 2 cups of vegetable oil. Hey, I said it was delicious. I didn't say that it was low fat. 1 cup of buttermilk, 1 ounce of red food coloring, 1 teaspoon of vanilla. You're also going to need to sift some of your ingredients, so you'll want an extra bowl and a sifter as well. All right, before we sift our ingredients together, I do want to give you one little tip about the cake flour. It's not a bad idea to fluff it around a little bit so that it's not so packed that you aren't getting an accurate measurement. So I went ahead and fluffed it before I measured 2½ cups into my bowl. We're going to combine the 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Give it a little stir around. And then sift it into a separate bowl. Maybe about half of it at a time. This is an important step. You don't want to skip this because you can see how many lumps of flour are in there, and those would not get mixed in well with our batter. So it's an important step to sift your ingredients. Another little tip I'll give you, when you measure out your buttermilk, go ahead and add your red food coloring right to the buttermilk. The reason you do this is because the buttermilk is extremely viscous and thick, and the red food coloring is not. So the red food coloring could easily splash right out of your bowl when you try to put it in there and make more of a mess. So let's go ahead and combine that. We'll stir it together a little bit. Less likelihood for splashing that way. You can go ahead and add your vanilla to this liquid mixture as well. About a teaspoon. Never hurts to have a little extra vanilla in my opinion, so I don't really measure it. I just make sure it's at least a teaspoon. We'll start with our 2 cups of granulated sugar in the bowl and 2 cups of vegetable oil in the bowl. Go ahead and mix those thoroughly on low power. Once those come together, we'll start adding 1 egg at a time until it's well beaten. When that's well beaten, we'll go ahead and add our 1 teaspoon of vinegar. The vinegar is not going to make it sour. It just causes a reaction with the baking soda later on and makes the cake a little bit more fluffy. Okay, that looks well combined. So now we're going to start adding our flour mixture alternately with our buttermilk mixture. So it's maybe about 1/3 of it. Let that mix. only pour in about a third of the buttermilk mixture. You can turn the power down when you're adding the liquid mixture. You might get a little splash out of the bowl, but you definitely want to turn it off when you add your flour mixture. Otherwise, you're going to wind up with a fluffy mess of flour. The second third has been added. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and scrape down the sides of the bowl just a little bit. We don't have a whole lot of flour hanging out there, but there is a little, and we want it all combined properly. Maybe even scrape from the bottom just a little bit. You can make this recipe with a hand mixer instead of a stand mixer if you'd like to. It doesn't require a lot of beating, so there's no reason you couldn't just use your trusty old hand mixer instead. All right. Last bit of buttermilk. Look at that gorgeous red color. This is going to be so rich and delicious. I can't wait for you to try it. All right, we'll go ahead and get all the batter off of our beaters and then pour it into the 3 prepared pans. Okay, I've preheated my oven to 350 degrees. And we'll go ahead and spread this evenly between the 3 pans. Like I said, you can just do 2 layers if you'd rather do a 9 or 10-inch pan. I just like the presentation of a nice, tall, delectable 3-layer cake. So that's what I'm doing today. Okay, I'm going to pop these in the oven for anywhere from 25 to 35 minutes. Check it with a toothpick. When the toothpick comes out completely clean, no longer wet, they're going to be ready to come out. Okay, stick around. I'm going to teach you how to make the delicious cream cheese icing for our red velvet cake. You'll need 2 blocks of cream cheese, 2 sticks of butter, 2 pounds of powdered sugar, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. I hope you've enjoyed our time together today as much as I have, and I hope you'll give this red velvet cake recipe a try. Who knows, it may become a staple at your family's Christmas dinner. If you did enjoy today's episode, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button to Crystal the Cake Lady. Until next time, Merry Christmas and Happy Baking!